There's this dating epidemic that's happening right now.
Okay, if a girl says that she don't want a relationship with you, guys do that.
One-sided abuse. Most of the time, it is the woman towards the man.
In 2026, something strange is happening. People are still online, still visible, still present. But real-world dating? It's slowing down. And the silence is starting to feel louder than the noise that if dating apps are full, social media is active, and everyone is connected, why does it feel like nobody is actually dating anymore? Stay with us till the end, because what's really driving this shift isn't obvious, and most people are completely misreading it.
There's this dating epidemic that's happening right now. Women do not need men to get bank accounts, houses. They have careers on their own. And so as a result, it's challenging societal norms of the way men value themselves when it comes to being successful for relationships. Whereas the flip side, a lot of women are saying men need to step it up emotionally, which is why I talk a lot about emotional intelligence and how that's what women want. There's this push and pull happening right now with society. I want to know though, what are your thoughts?
For years, the expectation was simple. Men approach, women choose. That dynamic carried the system forward. But when that pattern starts breaking, everything downstream changes with it.
We are now in the female loneliness epidemic age. A lot of women live boring lives and are more lonely than you think. You might say, well, they have a lot of guys in their DMs all the time. But most, if not all of those guys in their DMs, they just want to have sex with them. And you might think, well, they tell the girls that they want to marry them and do this and do that. But guys will say anything just to get a bit of coochie, man. And the reason as to why there's a female loneliness epidemic is because of feminism. That scam turned women into the very men they wanted. Focus on yourself, bro. You ain't missing out on nothing. Hit that follow button for more tips.
Now, fewer men are initiating. Not because they can't, but because they are questioning whether it's worth it. When effort feels uncertain and outcomes feel unpredictable, hesitation replaces action.
There's a man up here that posted and said, "We aren't having a male loneliness epidemic. It's natural selection." No one is choosing you because you don't have the things that would make a very good next generation. It's not male loneliness. It is inadequacy and incompetence. And honestly, probably something about the way you look just doesn't sit right with people. So.
Why do I get the sense that the next video this woman's gonna post is about how she's 35 or 40 and she's single, but she's happy. She wants to be single. She don't need no man. Meanwhile, she's like crying to her 15 cats. Unless you as a woman, you're willing to share a man. But what's crazy to me is that women are still trying to use this article that was released a few years ago, and they're still relating this male loneliness to only relationship loneliness. That's not it, ladies. They're also talking about the lack of friendships, and I think that it has way more to do with that than actual relationships. But yet, women are trying to utilize it as another way to shame men. And even some men are using it to shame other men to appease women. And that is really messed up.
And hesitation at scale creates emptiness. Conversations don't start, connections don't form, and opportunities disappear before they even exist.
So I keep hearing about the men's loneliness epidemic as if it's a woman's problem and we have to do something about it. But why don't we put the responsibility on men? They've created this problem, therefore they should fix it for themselves. They've created this world where all men had to offer was money and property. But now that's changed and women have their own money and we can buy our own property and we can open our own bank accounts. And we're just not as dependent on men anymore. Therefore, there's no reason for us to feel obligated to marry a man or be with a man. Now we actually want substance, we want sustenance, we want somebody to show up for us emotionally, we want somebody to be intelligent. We want all of these other things, and men are like, whoa, too much to ask, because they've never had to offer that before. Like, I'm sorry, you have to have a personality now, Brad. And these men are complaining our standards are too high as if they didn't force us into marrying them in order to have a life, in order to do anything.
At the same time, expectations haven't dropped, they've evolved. More compatibility, more alignment, more certainty. But higher expectations with lower participation creates a gap that's hard to close.
It's pretty wild to say this, but female loneliness epidemic is true. It's happening. If we have problems, so do you. They don't have no relationships with men. You're just fucking and sucking. Because now, simps are starting to decline. I'm not saying they're not out there, but the way they operate is changing. The light bulb is starting to click. Oh, I'm going to do all these things for a woman that doesn't even give me sex, doesn't listen to me, doesn't really want anything to do with me outside of what I'm willing to give her. So you're trading your resources, effort, and all the things you do for just her time without even the benefits? That's stupid. So they're waking up, which is causing women to remain single. With this being said, promiscuity has ruined a lot of the pros of being in a relationship. We all know sex is the most valuable thing a woman can offer in a relationship, outside of her services, if you know what I mean. Catering, rubbing your feet, making your meals, doing your laundry, doing chores, okay? Looking out after you, not wasting your time. So now we are all essentially single. If you're not in a relationship at this present moment, 5 years to a decade plus, most likely you are going to remain single. That's the truth. Because think about it like this. They meet one guy, that doesn't go anywhere. They meet another guy, then they're meeting multiple men at the same time. Some women are going to sex parties. Some women are doing the most chaotic things in their lives while they're single. That's obviously fucking the mind, which is why a lot of women have therapists. If you guys haven't noticed, women are on meds. They have a lot of therapists, and that's not helping. They're still in the same position. What's the point of having these aids if your mind is rotten to the core? Doesn't work. But anyways, guys, let me know your experiences down below. And the loneliness epidemic is here. And I don't think it's going anywhere. It's so easy. Even a fucking caveman can do it.
Social media adds another layer. It creates the illusion of endless options, but that illusion often leads to indecision. When everything feels replaceable, nothing feels worth committing to.
Okay, if a girl says that she don't want a relationship with you, guys do that, and it's actually girls too. Like, if they say they don't want a relationship, it's not that they're not ready for a relationship, they don't like you. Like, for girls, you can trust that they don't like you, because a girl would be ready if you're the right person.
Then comes emotional fatigue. After repeated cycles of talking stages, short-term connections, and unclear outcomes, people start pulling back. Not out of anger, but out of exhaustion.
We're going through an epidemic in the United States where men are either jealous of pretty women or want to be treated like women.
Really? Sometimes I think that some are just making things up at this point just to have something to talk about.
And it's almost like men want to be in the woman's position. Want to be the ones that are being asked on dates and being courted, and the woman should be the one that sets up the dates and pays for everything.
And what's wrong with that? Equality, after all. Oh wait, some women don't want to be treated as equals to men, or in this case, as men as equals to women. There's some women out there that just want to be treated better than men, and it shows.
Like, when you share your personal experiences with certain guys, they are jealous that because you are a beautiful, intelligent woman, you have access to certain experiences. You live in Miami, getting invited to nice dinners, getting invited to go to beach clubs, getting invited to go on yachts.
What's that called? Oh yeah, female privilege.
Things are free for beautiful women that men have to pay for.
And yet some women are blaming men for wanting free stuff when they take it for granted? Okay.
Honestly, I think they're jealous, and I think that they want the roles to be reversed. And I'm not saying it's all men, but I am saying it's definitely some men. If you want to be a girl so bad, that's fine, but go and find your husband and stop dating other girls.
I'm sorry, but why is homophobia still so readily accepted as long as it's only used to insult straight men?
I'm curious, what do you think? Do you think men starting to really want the treatment that women should be receiving? I'm curious to hear your thoughts.
I don't think women should be receiving special treatment at all, but I don't think a lot of women would be ready to be treated as equals to men.
A lot of men have redirected their focus. Work, fitness, personal goals, areas where effort equals results. And once that shift happens, returning to uncertainty feels less appealing.
To me, the male loneliness epidemic comes down to a simple metaphor. It's like a man standing in a room full of open doors. He's complaining to anyone who will listen that he's trapped. Not because there's no way out, but because he refuses to walk through a door unless there is a cold beer, a round of applause, and a woman on her knees waiting for him there. Women aren't asking for that much. They're just highlighting the ways that they have been robbed historically and are currently still being robbed as men weaponized feminism against them. A lot of women just wanted the opportunity to work. And now men are trying to enforce rigid patriarchal systems while also expecting their wife to work 40 hours a week. Maybe they want a full-on trad wife who somehow is educated and knows things about the world, but not too much to the point that she's going to tell you that you're wrong or is going to challenge you on anything you say. They want a mother figure who they can have sex with anytime they want and who will raise their children and will also pick up a job if for some reason their household isn't making enough. I don't know about y'all, but if I were really that desperate and lonely, I would look in the mirror and figure out why women are not fawning over me. Because most of the time it's simple shit that women are asking for and they are giving you the instruction manual. Then you're taking the manual, throwing it out the window and saying, man, women's expectations are so unrealistic. If they actually really loved women and appreciated women for all that women are and not just the type of woman that they envision and fantasize about, then they would be taking every single thing that women are saying about why they're not dating as many men and why they're being so selective. Then they would find that there's very, very fixable things and very easy things that they can do to make women feel safe, to make women feel heard, and to make women want to open up their house and their bed to a random man who could potentially harm them. Prioritize safety and comfort for women, and they will give you that warmth and that tenderness that y'all are so badly craving. But instead, you're blaming them for the issue that you created. Women don't want to dominate in a relationship. They want a partner. And they also don't want to have to submit. It's not that hard.
Meanwhile, many women are still expecting interaction to happen naturally. But when initiation drops, that expectation meets reality, and the gap becomes visible.
You're not a loser because you make $50,000 a year before taxes. You're a loser because despite all of the effort women have put in the last 5 years on this app trying to explain to you what they want in a partner, you still go on the internet finding other losers that you would rather listen to about what women want. We have created maps, diagrams, graphs to help the horse get to the fucking water. But because you would rather value what other men say what women want over what we say we want, you're lonely and a loser.
They're losers because they didn't listen to you. Does listening to you guarantee them the results that they're looking for? Or do they get the results from listening to these other men? Women say they know what they want. They speak out about what they want. Great. But when it comes to following through and actually seeing that work out, it doesn't happen that way. Not only that, but I've noticed a lot of the advice that women give to men about dating gets the men used or taken advantage of. Oh, give her money, buy her extravagant gifts, give her flowers constantly. And then what? She gets the ick? She friend zones you? He wanted a relationship, not to go into the friend zone. And oftentimes when men listen to women for dating advice, he's getting advice from someone that doesn't have a deep understanding of what men realistically go through in relationships. Because we don't see these videos full of empathy and understanding towards men. Because a lot of ladies don't have an understanding of the struggles that men deal with. They invalidate them immediately. They see it as a competition. Oh, women have it harder all the time. And you think that you're going to be in the best position to give these same men advice about what you want. When's the last time you dated the man that was doing all of those things? I could also argue that a lot of women want a man to lead because they see that as part of being masculine. So if he's doing everything that you say and listening to you without thinking for himself, that's not him leading. That's you leading. And then you get resentful because you feel like you have to control everything when he never even wanted that.
What looks like disinterest is often recalibration. People are choosing where to invest energy more carefully than before.
No one is teaching you the lifestyle you have to have while married, and that's why people are so quick to want to get the ring and don't care about the lifestyle. That's why more people have weddings and less people have marriages. From my personal opinion, women are definitely desperate for relationships, romantic relationships, I should say. I know y'all don't want to hear this. There is a married woman out there that knows her husband's tendencies and behaviors. There are women that know that man is a pedophile, that man is a pervert, that man is doing something he shouldn't be doing, and they look past it because at least they can say they're with somebody. At least they can say they have a man. Why is it an insult to say to a woman, that's why you're single, that's why you don't have a man, that's why you're not married? But it's never the same insult for a man. When you insult a man, you say that's why you don't get no. Oh, okay. There's a video floating around in Houston of a decorator that decorated a hotel room for a man that was having his 12th year anniversary with his wife. As she's recording the room, the husband is asking her for schmecks for $200, and she's repeatedly telling him no. And he's like, you know, what people don't know don't hurt. And guess who came to his defense even after hearing that audio? The wife. And she posted a video where you can hear the conversation with the wife, and the wife is like, what was offensive? And it's like, girl, I don't have to draw it out. You're defending that because you know that's who he is. And at least you have a husband, so you're not gonna try to get him to change his nature. And to see that video of the young lady that paid Anwar $10,000 for dating tips, not even handing her a man, giving her a roster. She was on Hinge swiping for 178 dates to get to her fiance. So now she's trying to make her money back online right now by sharing content and view to help you. You know, it's almost like a pyramid scheme to me. You pay one person, then you resell it. Isn't that like digital marketing? Whatever. A lot of women switch up when they have a man. They can go from being a girl's girl to my man, my man, my man, even if he sits there and plays games with her. At least she has something. My advice to you, stop fantasizing the ring and fantasize the lifestyle. No one is sitting here teaching people how to be in long-term, committed, healthy relationships. The reason why I've been saying more advice on men and women is because that's what y'all want to see. When I post videos on anything else, what gets me the most views, the most interaction is relationships. But no one really teaches you long-term marriage. Everyone is teaching you how to have standards, don't put up with crap. We're living in a generation where people are just telling you, walk away at any given moment, be alone. And there has to be a female loneliness epidemic, because how come all these men that used to bash women are now turning their content into, oh, this is how you should treat women? They're like just sitting there feeding y'all crap and y'all eating it up. You're paying a dating coach $10,000 to meet a man online. There is a female loneliness epidemic. Women are just not talking about it out loud. And y'all not fooling me. Y'all are lonely and y'all are paying an egregious amount for a mediocre man. That's it. That's my rant.
And when both sides are waiting, nothing moves. No one approaches, no one commits, and the system slowly stalls.
I've got a prediction for 2026. And that is that the so-called male loneliness epidemic is only going to get worse in the next year and onward. And the reason for that is because women, and specifically Black women, have decided to opt out of the bullshit, y'all. They prefer to deal with a partner who is emotionally intelligent, mature, and acts like a damn adult. And when they look at the dating pool that's out here, they're not finding it.
The uncomfortable truth is that modern dating isn't failing because people don't want connection. It's struggling because the incentives don't align anymore.
He's an abuser, he's a deadbeat, and this kind of stuff. They go to adulthood, and of course, as most kids are, as pretty much all kids are, they're impressionable. They don't know any better. They're naive. They haven't experienced life, so they believe it. They believe it, and they don't want to make an effort to reach back out to their father. They don't. So, really, guys, this is the problem I see, is that this is not talked about enough. This is ultimately why I made this channel. I am very blessed and very thankful to be monetized. I'm very blessed and very thankful to have had the growth I've had, to have you guys here viewing the video. But this is serious. This needs to be talked about. I know countless men, I shouldn't say countless, but more than I can count with both hands, men that have gone through this situation with the courts, that have gone through this, that feel defeated because they grew up in the public education and they were pushed this kind of stuff like I dealt with in my college years, trying to tell me as a man that there's something wrong with me, that my life is somehow an easy street compared to women. They're out of their mind. They are completely out of their mind. You know, it's beyond ridiculous. And I want to make a point of something too. When you see this kind of stuff, these women that hate men, whatever, ultimately what it's a reflection of is they hate really themselves, their own kids. They don't have the best interests of them. They don't at all. And they are so corrupt. They are so really abusive, even physically abusive, I've seen in some cases. Again, another thing nobody seems to want to talk about. One-sided abuse. And I've heard people that have talked to police officers and stuff like that. They said a lot of the time, the one-sided kind of abuse and stuff like that in relationships, most of the time it is the woman towards the man. Most of the time it is the woman towards the man doing that. So, guys, I don't want to see it anymore. I don't want to see men, good men, decent men, like I said, getting disrespected on a daily basis, because there is going to be a scary reality for women that do this kind of stuff, and for even women as a whole, even women that maybe don't play part in this. Because you're going to see men really walk away. You're not going to have that kind of shoulder to fall back on. Of course, there are things as men we need to do better as well. I see a lot of men, like I mentioned, making this mistake. Getting with the women who are the toxic single mothers, who isolated the kids from their biological father. That's part of the problem too.
At the end of the day, this isn't about one side winning or losing. It's about a shift in behavior. And until participation, expectations, and effort line up again, that feeling of emptiness isn't going anywhere.
Men stopped playing by the rules, and now everyone's freaking out. Let's break down why silence has become the loudest move.